Yo, what's up? Snoop Dogg, back in the building. Chilling here. Gonna pull some tarot cards. Gonna see how's it gonna go. What we gonna see? Um, yeah, it might go up, it might not. I'm just gonna try it out, and we'll see what happens. Um, yeah, I guess we'll start with this deck. Unfortunately, I have this thing. I thought it was called a gangnam in Swedish, but it's actually a brace. Whatever. I was stupid. I thought the like so I get this like ball that swells up on my hand and yeah. Anyway, that's not what the video's about. I think I just try to talk about something good while shuffling so it feels engaging during the time, you know? But yeah. I mean, how fun would it be watching a video where someone's just being quiet the whole time? Doesn't sound very fun, doesn't sound very engaging to me. I feel pretty good right now. I had a friend who came by and yeah, it's nice to be able to be there for a friend, you know? I think this friend and me are gonna do some great things in life. And yeah, I'm just happy. I feel calm, I feel good, I feel strong. Very strong right now. And yeah, we'll see. Let me pull some cards. I'm going to pull them a little differently. We'll see how it goes. How do I want to pull the cards? I'm doing it very off the top. Very freebasing it. I think I'm going to flip the pile. Because people usually read the bottom cards as like the energy for the reading or whatever, or for the shuffle or yada yada. So, in a way, I should be able to start from the bottom and see. And then if each time the card flips, I'll take a pause. And then, see, I like this. Because then it's like, and then you say the best for last. You can, I'm just thinking out loud here because I think it's interesting. This video might only be for myself, you know? But then I can go through the whole deck. And then based off of how the cards are structured in order, we'll have a different reading. Because, okay, anyway, we'll start. Welcome. This is my channel, Solar Symphonies. And yeah. Call this Two Paths Tarot. Maybe if I have time, if I can make it through this deck and the other deck, then the second deck will be the second path, not clarifier. I think that's what we'll do. All right. So we start off with the Queen of Wands. Boom. Queen of Wands. I like that card. Last time I saw these entities down there. This time I'm more focused on the background. It kind of looks like a desert canyon or something like that. And yeah. Gotta stand in your grace, stand in your power, and show up. Know that you got the people with you. Even if it doesn't always feel that way. That's what you got. We got the Prince of Pentacles. The Prince of Pentacles is like, to me, Pentacles just says like abundance, but obviously that's not quite right. But I don't care. This is my channel. This is the way I choose to read the cards. And I think that's something you should think about is this is your life. You decide how your life is supposed to play out. You are the master of your surroundings. Screw the universe. The universe is the master of everything. You are the master of what is in your life and how you engage with the people or things around you, and it's all on you. So take responsibility for how you playing yourself, because if you don't, you know, it sucks having to realize that you weren't living in your highest potential earlier in life sometimes. So, think about it. Got the Emperor. He's obviously looking all, I don't even know if I showed the Prince of Pentacles. There it is anyways, just so you can see the card. The Emperor. The Emperor is, look at him. He almost looks disappointed. So I'd say maybe check yourself for how have you been acting? How have you been treating the people around you? What have you been talking about? Have you really been engaging in the most high frequency of your being, of your energy being, or whatever? I got all these funny terms and stuff and all these silly ideas about how things are, and you know, who cares? Maybe I tell you about them now and then they change later. You know, we're not static beings. We're not always the same way because we gather more experience along the way, and that obviously influences how we can interact or how we are, what we think. Maybe one day I'll figure out something that, changed something I thought earlier. It doesn't mean that that was wrong. It was just a stepping stone to get to where I was going. So look out for the stepping stones in your life and see where you're trying to go with it all. Yeah. Interesting. Got the Chariot. And this, so it's the Starman Tarot and Bowie. It's like a Bowie deck. And this one has like the most clear picture of Bowie. This one was really written in his image or whatever. And yeah, it's such an interesting picture, because I think his chariot is like driven. I don't know. He has Komodo dragons dragging him. Oh, that's funny. And yeah, I really like the artwork. In this deck, it has a very interesting esque to it, you know. And now I see there's something ahead where he's on his way to. It's kind of like some nice geometry, plus the only colorful object that isn't in the same style as the other colors of the picture. You can see it down there. That little thing right there in front of it. And I think that's like, you're going the right way. No matter where you are in your journey, no matter how, whatever life is, you know, you've always been going the right way. So trust that. Don't be so hard on yourself for how things have gone or how things be, because we have to experience things in order to evolve for ourselves. Of course, the whole society, the whole world, the whole universe, the whole whatever, you know, the whole is always evolving and developing and getting, smarter and wiser, you know. Get smart and wise with time. Such an interesting phenomenon, living, because you start living without knowing anything, but somehow inside you know so much. It's hard to say because it's hard remembering how it felt or how things were when you were a child, but I think that a lot of our memories, I'd say imprints, I'd say there's a lot of experiences we've gone through in life that have left an imprint on us. I'm just gonna open the door and I gotta go get my water because I'm thirsty. And then honestly, I don't know, my friend might show up again. He might need me more. So I'm leaving the door open so I make sure I can hear him. He can't get into my apartment building, but he can tap on the window if he needs to. Okay, so here we are. Yeah, long-lasting imprints on our soul's journey or whatever do have an influence on the current life that we live. Our whole life, I think. I think we came to be a human because there was something more we had to learn of being a human, or there's many different things. Obviously, it depends on your journey. You can't base your life off of mine because you've had a completely different life and completely different experiences. We all experience similarities, and sometimes, feelings are the same, but there is a depth of feelings that you can feel on, let's say, like a gradient. Some feelings you feel more depending on what happened to you that triggered the emotion, let's say. It was very compassionate meet now for me. So I got these really nice, sensational, compassionate feelings for the conversation I was having with my friend, because I could notice him growing and I could feel myself growing, and then I felt these nice, warm, fuzzy feelings, and that's the thing. Everything we do awakens a feeling. Some feelings are very intense and some feelings are milder, but there's always a feeling about things. Interesting. Moving on, we got the Six of Cups. It's so funny. I think it's interesting how I really get deep on the different subjects. I don't know, but it's like, and it's hard to know if you should go further or if you should stop sometimes, because sometimes a stop can be more impactful than droning on and on and on and on. But sometimes going on and on and on and on and on and on can have it has a nicer ring to it almost, like not being afraid of doing things on and on, recurringly. Some things you have to keep digging in. Sometimes you gotta go deeper instead of just scratching the surface all the time. Worth thinking about. It's just a side note. So yeah, the Six of Cups. Obviously, this was the card that I had in the other reading about like the paintings of life, which I honestly really liked myself. Not to blow smoke up my own ass or whatever. But I'll just reiterate it again. Try to frame yourself in your past, in your history. The only way we can move in to thoughts of the future and how we want the future to be in reality is if we deal with our past. Or sometimes you can also be ignorant to your past, and then you can also think about the future. But if you're conscious about your past experiences and you need to reflect and heal from it, I think most, if not all, people out here in the world, on the world, we're not in the world, we're on the world, we're all traumatized in one way or another. Some traumas are deeper, some traumas are lighter, but I think it's important to understand that so we don't continuously hurt each other more, because none of us want to be hurt. None of us want to feel icky or sad or grief or shame or all these, there's a lot of emotions, fear, that aren't desirable emotions. Sometimes you have to dive into those emotions though to explore, understand, and move on from, or whatever. And other times, they're those emotions don't have to have any sort of reflection. Reflect. I was gonna try to change it to like reflective, but it doesn't have to have any effect in the conversation or the moment as it is. It doesn't have to fear. What does fear do for you? You know, like of course fear keeps you safe. Without fear, but also being able to identify when a fear is irrational. Then there's obviously valid feelings sometimes of certain things, whatever, and then there's also irrational feelings, irrational fears. So yeah, trust it, trust that and for you. Sometimes our truths can align and we find solace in the moments together. Sometimes we find the truths for ourselves. And maybe it doesn't matter to anyone else. I think in those cases, though, it's important to think about what are your intentions with believing or thinking this certain thing, because there's more positives and more negatives, or there's all these different things. So I'm thinking more about how the reading's going to play out, but who cares? I don't think anyone cares about how I structure it, really. So now we got the Empress. So now we've had both the Emperor and Empress both in the same first part of the pile. And yeah. It's interesting. This one thing, I don't know if you've noticed it in life too, but there's these. Obviously, there's like the Fibonacci sequence, spirals, and all these things. I dug a bit in it in my past, long time ago now, but I think it's very interesting when spirals and stuff show up. And I had never seen the spiral on this picture before. So I think to say to you that make sure you're not spiraling on anything. And if so, what would that be? Sometimes we have to go a little stir crazy on certain things in life because that will help our development. It'll help our progress. It'll help our journey. Maybe sometimes not in the moment, but maybe sometimes further along the road. So yeah, just being more conscious about what it is you're doing. Sometimes maybe you have to cut. That's why it's a spiral. Spirals don't continue forever. Spirals have a beginning and an end. Right? So, it's interesting how like certain subtleties show up in life and how we can notice things that we can't put our what it exactly is, but we notice it. We notice that there's something about it. And this card's subtlety, obviously the spiral, because I hadn't seen that before, but then now I see the turquoise at the top of the picture, which is like, the whole picture is in like a red orange SQ, there's some darkness creeping around in different spots and corners and cracks and whatnot. Yeah, now I wanted to say about the cracks, like a crack doesn't mean that you're going to break. You're not an egg. You can crack. We all crack sometimes. Certain things make us crack. It gets too sensitive. Crack. Ooh, that was too sensitive. I don't want to talk about that. Sometimes we lash out. Usually lash out when we crack, I think. Um, it's important to watch what you're doing to those cracks. Because if you crack, it means that there's something there that needs tending to. But usually, instead of tending to it, I think people, you, me, everyone, it gets, I didn't, it's not a desirable feeling to crack, obviously. So, trying more to take care of those cracks. Take care of yourself. Treat yourself like how you would treat a baby, in a way. It might sound weird, but I mean it in like a maternal way. Be a good maternal figure to yourself, especially when things get weird or whatever. That's when it's most important. Oh, yeah. Sometimes maybe it's like the turquoise is at the forefront of the picture, above everything else, like the closest thing to there, even though it's only in a small spot. Here, I'll show you just again. You see, there's the turquoise and disillusioning yourself. Me and my friend talked about this a little bit, so that's why I remember it in a way. But it's true. You have to disillusion yourself from the illusions that either you have placed in your life or others have placed in your life. It was a big part of my personal healing journey, was disillusioning myself from certain ideologies maybe, or certain things that people told me that I was supposed to take to heart, they felt, and I took it to heart because I always liked applying what it is I'm gaining from my interactions or whatnot. And I think when you do that, it gives you an opportunity to grow. And the longer I've done that, it might be a good key, actually. I think that can help your discernment ability. If you apply, if you just trust everything, then it helps you be able to discern later if the information that you're being given or that whatever that you're being given is something that actually is for you or not. Sometimes it is not. Being able to take that in, move through you, and then peace. That wasn't for me. Thank you, but no thank you. Got this like gross analogy. Like, you're obviously not going to keep all the shit in your body. You obviously have to poop it out. So there's certain things in the food that we consume that we don't need, because our body's already taken all of the nutrients, all of the things that we wanted from it, and then it has to pass. If it was super flawless, then our body wouldn't even have to discrete anything, it would just process it all, and then now you've gained it or whatever, and keep moving. But it's hard to explain, sorry. You don't have to let everything stick to you. Everything doesn't have to, you don't have to carry everything with you forever. Certain things, you have to learn to be able to let go of them for yourself. I'm gonna let this reading be very fun. I'm going to talk about things in a very free and open way. And I'm not going to be afraid of how it comes off. I'm just going to do it because that's how I feel. That's what I want to do. Like switching up the words and waiting a little while in between saying them. Like that. Because it changes the rhythm and the flow of life. And I like playing around. I like having fun. I like being goofy. What do you like to do? I also like looking ahead. I don't like looking down. I never enjoyed looking down. I'd rather look up than look down. How about you? Um, there's so it's the Three of Wands now. I guess I know a lot of people like seeing the cards. Sometimes I like seeing the cards. Sometimes when I watch tarot, I just, you know, depends. But it's, I'll show the cards just to. That's how I want to do it. Some people don't. Some people do. You know, it's a personal preference. Does it matter? No, not really. Maybe some people will enjoy the video more because I show the cards. Maybe some people will like it less. It doesn't really matter, but it does matter. I think that's the thing about a lot of different things in life. Some things matter, but it's not like make or break things, you know. It's not the most important. It doesn't have to. I'm looking for my water. It doesn't have to be. So I was gonna say black and white, but that's not quite what I'm going for. I think everything doesn't have to be so loaded. We don't have to charge everything with if if say someone doesn't believe me, someone doesn't believe you for on whatever, and then you get all super passionate and engaged, and now you're trying to like convince them. Maybe that's just something they don't want to talk about. Maybe everything isn't for everyone. Some people like this and other people like that. It's like an interesting thing. My friend, he enjoys playing hockey. I enjoy playing basketball. We both like sports. That's our similarity in it. We both have dreams about it or whatever, maybe. But so far, it's silly. Anyway, I'm trying to compose myself again. And that's an important part of life, keeping your composure. Um, and understanding that we have different interests in things. Um, yeah, that's fine. And then there's other people that we have the same interests, we have the same dreams and aspirations. Oh, and then here is like a thing. If let's say both of us like, we'll do basketball since I like basketball. Then, of course, both of us want to be the best at basketball. Both of us want to score the most, or not. Maybe we just want to score, have fun. That's the thing. Also, we can have different, our own unique ways of enjoying things. Maybe someone likes tarot because of it gives them hope and inspiration and dreams and whatever, and someone else likes tarot because it helps them reflect and all these different things. So understanding that this life is so multifaceted and that we are able to have such unique experiences even when doing things that aren't unique, like playing basketball. Just keep it on that, not have to overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate things. Sometimes things are very simple. um but where was the thread? Yeah, so not competing anyway. Just because we both like basketball and maybe we play together, or maybe we even play against each other. Of course, there is healthy competition. It's fun to compete. It's funny. This now I'm not even using the cards anymore. It's silly. Who cares? It's just a for me tarot is yeah. Anyway, I'll tell you about what tarot is for me, but I just want to finish the competition thing. Um, Sometimes we're gonna lose. Sometimes we're gonna win. Sometimes our competitors are gonna be better. Sometimes we're gonna be better. Sometimes your friend is gonna be better at something than you are that you both like to do. You should just be happy for them. Wow. Isn't that impressive? That should inspire you. Wow. It's like I got my own personal role model in it. And they got tips and tricks and all these things. Being interested in it instead of being like, oh, I'm going to be better than them. Back on the conniving energy. Conniving is something we can do in so many different circumstances and places in life. And conniving never really leads to anything positive. I don't think so at all. I'd almost dare say I know so. Conniving is not good. It's not gonna help. It's not gonna make anyone feel better. Say you're conniving about the conversation that you're having with someone. They say something that triggers you, and then instead of reacting on it and trying to understand it, you start conniving in secret while you're having the conversation, and then you start trying to maybe manipulate them, or maybe you go and gossip behind their back, or there's many ways the conniving can play out. You can connive in many different ways. Do you really want to be someone like that? Do you want to be someone that's conniving about I just can't imagine it, I just can't imagine that people really want to do certain things. That you do certain things, that I do certain things that hurt ourselves or others, in big and small ways. Why? Why? We don't want to do that, do we? Is anyone aiming to, please, miss me with that, Okay. I'm like, I could keep, and I think that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to start snowballing on all these different things, because like understanding one thing can lead to understanding another thing, and so on. Almost into infinity if you want to. Sometimes you have to go back. Sometimes you hit a topic about something. It's very interesting. You enjoy it thoroughly. And then you move on. Maybe the other person wants to talk about something. Maybe it snowballs into something else. You can always go back and open that again and deepen it. So don't be afraid to claim what you need in life circumstances. Maybe sometimes you need more out of this experience than what you're getting. No one knows that except you. No one can read your thoughts, not really. We can understand things without each other, like really explaining it out or telling us about it, because we can see and we can, but yeah. I'm like, the ways that I explain things and think feel so like airy sometimes that I giggle at myself. I'm like, oh, I wonder how it's gonna be. What's it called? It's interesting. Since I know English and Swedish fluently, I feel like sometimes I know the word in the other language, and then I'm like, okay, wait, I gotta search for it. Takes a little while. But yeah. Now I lost myself because I tried to explain it. You see, and then maybe I'll come back to it. Don't be afraid to get lost in things sometimes. Sometimes that's what's required for you to be able to deepen your understanding about something. Don't you want to be able to understand this life? And I thought I heard a knock, but we'll see. Obviously, it'll knock more if he's here. But yeah, don't you want to deepen your understanding about things? I feel like the more certain understandings, knowing certain things can always have, I think, whatever we learn to know, it has an effect on us, you know. So it's like, what information are you feeding yourself? Are you feeding yourself information that's, I really hope I'm not projecting in this. I'd like to know if you ever feel like I'm too on about certain things, or that I think I know too much about something, please tell me. We can have a conversation about it. Maybe you have a missing key in my understanding, and vice versa. You know, that's kind of what this is. This is just me sharing my understanding of things that might help you. Sometimes maybe you'll just hear it and you'll be like, okay, whatever, Lucas, I'm moving. That's not applicable to me. And sometimes it isn't for the rest of your life or whatever. Sometimes it might come back later. It might hit you later. That's why when I watch tarot, I see, I watch, I listen, I take in. Sometimes my brain is just completely blank. Sometimes it's like, whoa, it's just booming, booming, booming. I feel like the times when it doesn't really boom or whatever is when they're trying to tell me what's going to happen in my future, which is obviously a big part of reading, like card readings and fortune telling in general. That's the like thing about it, is that it's supposed to, for some reason. This isn't what I think it is. I don't think so, personally. I don't think you can tell people you can see what's approaching, because in theory, my theory, or the theory of the understanding I have, is that you are trying to read an energy. And right now, I'm reading the energy of what I get out of the Starman Tarot, and I'm recording it as a video for you. I'll watch it myself too, to hopefully have a positive impact on you. I have very good intentions with it. And if I read for someone else, tell a little story about when I read tarot cards for a girl or a woman or whatever you want to call her. But it was this girl at a bar in the US. It's called the Mousetrap. Pretty cool place. Good people there. I was there with my friend Dixie. She called me her soul animal when we met. I don't know, I'm just sharing a little story. So this girl that, I don't know if Dixie had her tarot cards with her. It wasn't me. I didn't have no tarot cards with me at the time. And I got to read tarot cards for this girl because I think it was her birthday on that day. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And I read tarot cards for her. I said things. I like leaned into the energy. I whoa, and then it hit her, so she started crying. She for some reason, the tarot reading that I gave her, and I didn't even really feel like I said anything special, but the things that it triggered for her gave her an emotional release in that situation, and Situation wasn't the best word for that, but I think that's what it's about. It's like helping people understand. That's what I think tarot's for. It's helping them understand maybe what's gone on in their life, or what's going on in their life, or what's coming in their life. Um, that's what, and tarot readers sometimes definitely do uh, make it distinct what the reading is for. If it's for a future love reading, future whatever. Um, I don't think I've ever seen though like tarot for the now, which is interesting also. Yeah, and then there could be like a, but they don't. No one categorizes it as such like that. Um, but there could be a reflective tarot. It would be tarot for the now, tarot for the past, and tarot for the future. Let's say, for example, and I think that would help people be able to decide easier what it is they're trying to accomplish with the tarot reading. Because maybe sometimes you do want to know, you want to dive deeper into what your future looks like so you can actively manifest towards it, say. Or you could have tarot for the now, where you figure out what's going on in your life now, in the like near +5 days, -5 days, whatever. I'd say tarot for the future is further along the road than people realize. This is obviously just me saying what I believe in this situation, in this chair, feeling around in these cards, in the energy. This is just what I'm realizing in the moment. Doesn't mean that it's the ultimate truth, or that this is final, you know. I don't know if we can know what's final. I tried to figure out a bunch of things, but anyway, it's besides the point. And then tarot for the past, reflective tarot or whatever, that could help you deal with traumas, past hurts. Could make you see how beautiful your life has been, how lucky you've been. Things like that can help you appreciate your life more, and what you've been lucky enough to experience. I forgot. I want to flip the camera. Right now I see myself, but I want to flip the camera and see how it looks. Maybe I'll probably stop this after I got like, how many more cards? I got 4 more cards. Going slow right now, but I got 4 more cards, and I'll read these last 4 cards, and then I'll actually end the reading because it's been a long reading already. And yeah, reflecting and being able to deal with the past is an important part of making your way back to the now. And then after you're in the now and you understand what's going on and then you can start looking to the future. And then you could choose your progression also. I think that would be an interesting reading. I'll let it happen naturally, but doing one where the first part of the reading is reflection, the second part is now, and the third part is future. Giving away my formulas here. If you want to be a tarot reader, there's a formula. Might be good, it might not. Everything's a guess. You can confirm things by using other people, asking them, what do you think about this or that, and then they can confirm or deny. That still doesn't mean that it's true, because maybe they don't know the full scope of the truth, or maybe you don't know the full scope of the truth. Can we ever know the full scope of the truth? I think we can always add on to the truth. The truth is not fixed, because the truth has so many sides to it, so many layers, so many. Yeah. Okay. I'll continue with the cards because I gotta finish it. It takes so long for me to upload the videos otherwise. Yeah, it's the King of Swords. Anyway, boom. The King of Swords. It's funny, I haven't done a reading in a while, so today the energy felt right for it. I just hope I don't look too crazy. I am tired. It's like, has to be after like 1 a.m. or something. Maybe not. I don't know. I have no clue what time it is. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes we just, no clue. Most of the time I have a very good concept of time, and I know. So someone will be on their way to look at the clock. I'll be like, it's do, or I'll think it. It's kind of weird just saying it. I know what the time is, but then I'll see, or they'll tell me, and I was like, that's what I knew exactly what time it was on the minute sometimes, and that's something you can get better at in life. You can, and I think that's what the King of Swords is saying in this is like, when you trust yourself and you dare. See, I hesitated, but when you dare, when you lean in and you, okay, this is how it is. This is what I believe. You get better at it. The only reason I have a good concept of time is because I practiced. I would think afterwards. Subconsciously. You can choose. I think we do. And you can be conscious about using your subconscious or not. That's an interesting way to say it, but yeah. So, being more conscious and using your subconscious to be more conscious in life in general. Yeah, I noticed a while back that sometimes I gain some piece of information, let's say, and then I'm like, ooh, now I felt it a while ago. I felt how I like put it into my subconscious. I didn't want to dig in it at the moment, but I chucked it in my subconscious and I let my subconscious work on it. And I probably won't even remember what it was, the thing I chucked in there, but I knew at the time that now I'm trying to figure out what that piece of information had to it. What was, because there was something special about it, there was something I felt. It gave me like a I was interested. I was like, okay, what was that? And yeah, you can use your subconscious mind to do a lot of different things. And sometimes unconscious thoughts, things that, or sometimes things pop into your mind unconsciously. Like sometimes things come into your mind that you're not trying to think about. You don't want to think about. Just lasers in there. You're like, I don't want to think about this. And I can feel, I've felt sometimes that it's been annoying. Like, it's like consuming my thoughts. This thing that I don't even want to think about. Like, leave me alone. And that's why sometimes we need healthy distractions. Sometimes we need to distract ourselves from what's going on in our mind. I've played a little cell phone games here and there. I stopped now because it wasn't fun with this anymore. But it helped me relax and not think so much because I had to use all my brain power to be able to score a victory in this game. So I was like, okay. And then I went hard on it. And then after a while, after days of like maybe doing some other things, but mostly playing that game, I was like, okay, now I don't want to play anymore. And now my thoughts are cleared because I threw myself so deep into something that took away all my focus from the things that maybe I didn't want to think about anymore. Maybe I dug enough. Maybe, okay, pause on all that, you know? Yeah. Um, it helps. So sometimes we do need to distract ourselves. And when we do distract ourselves, having healthy distractions, not distracting ourselves with so many different ways, you know. I've distracted myself with certain things in life. Alcohol. Alcohol can be a distraction from having to feel and deal with certain feelings because after you've done it, in the beginning it's exciting and it's fun, and I think a lot of people romanticize it because of how it was in the beginning, because it was so fun and engaging and yada yada. But then sometimes when you do something for too long, it starts having an opposite effect of what you're actually looking for. Um, so make sure you have healthy distractions, and if you need to distract yourself, if it's getting too heavy, don't sink. Please don't sink. Take a pause and distract yourself. Yeah, it's interesting because the next card is the Four of Cups, and it's a very heavy card. Um, it's interesting because in a lot of decks, and that's the thing, every deck is different. Every deck has different emotions that they portray in the pictures. Um, you would think that every Four of Cups, since that's one, every Four of Cups would have, let's say, a light positive attribute. In this one deck that I'm thinking of, it's like a cup handing out to you. It's like some help. It's like you're receiving help, or like a way out, or whatever, things like that. And in this card, it is not. The cups are being poured out. The cups are being spilled. You, the being, the person or whatever, is sitting in the dark ooze of it, just all miscolored. Earlier we had the Empress that had a lot of red colors, and some cracks. Now this person has red here and there, which I'm trying to figure out. Let's say this is how I choose to decipher it this time, but let's say the red is what you are when you just are. That's just what you are. But then the darkness is like it's taken over certain parts. It's clouded certain parts of you. So now you can't even see what you are because the darkness is like cloaked you. Um, the darkness has cast an illusion on you that, and maybe sometimes that illusion is there because you have to feel it. There's something, you let this happen to yourself. The darkness, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes people just they throw their darkness on other people. Misery loves company. I don't understand that. I don't understand how you could want to make someone feel bad because you feel bad. Um, if that's your intention, then it's definitely bad. Sometimes it just happens, and that's an important thing to realize. Like, people get hurt by accident all the time. Maybe I say something clumsy, and that triggers you and hurts you. I, my intentions might have been pure and good, and maybe I said it because I thought it was going to have a positive reaction, or I thought you were going to understand it the same way that I intended to say it, per se. And it didn't. I had a negative reaction. Now, it's like maybe then you would feel that the darkness has been like stuck to you. But maybe for me, it wasn't darkness, it was light. Maybe it was transmuted darkness. It was darkness that I had turned into light for myself. So that's how I saw it. But then when it hit you, it felt like darkness. Because in a way it is, but in a different way, it's not. Because that's not what it is for me. So, but yeah, this picture just felt very dark and heavy. I'm looking at the time right now because I'm like, it's 55 minutes long. It's so long. It's interesting. I didn't know the videos were going to be this long. I thought, but that's the thing. I don't want to rush it either. I don't want to just like jump in and then be like, all right, peace out, you know? But at some point I realized that, I can't, it just can't be too long, you know? And yeah, don't let the darkness consume you. Don't let the darkness grab a hold of you. Keep yourself safe from the darkness. Sometimes it's important to explore our darkness and to see so we understand. But don't let it take control over you. Don't let, because I think that's maybe when we start doing things that are really heavy. That's when we start, we can get so mean when the darkness consumes us. We start, no, we want everyone and everything else to feel the darkness that we feel. Sometimes I think that can definitely be a valid thing. If they really hurt you, then you kind of have to dig in it a little bit, but sometimes we start overreacting because we start feeling so heavy and so bad about things that we start messing things up on purpose just because we're angry. There might be truth in it, but what's the outcome? What's the effect of it? Sometimes people need to hear the harsh truth that you behold, but other times you're just flinging shit at people. That ain't cool. We all do that. I think that's the important thing about what I'm talking about in my videos is I believe that we all do certain things, but in different levels, in different ways, heavier and lighter. So, yeah. It's just such a dark card. I want to show you it again. Look at that. Now, when I put it up to the camera, I saw more of the light, though, which is kind of funny. I just saw the light contrast differently, but that's the thing. You can transmute darkness into light. It's like if you're in a dark room and you turn the light on, you turn the darkness into light. So you gotta dig in certain things to be able to restructure their there's like sometimes you know really what you want to say, you know, but you can't find the exact way you wanted to explain it, but some certain word, but you can restructure the pigment of emotions and feelings and experiences and all these different things, you know. Doesn't always, just because something felt bad when you experienced it doesn't mean it's always going to be a bad thing. I think that we have to go through everything that we've went through, no matter how hard, and that might suck to hear. And some people have experienced some really, really, really crazy bad things, you know. I've been spared from a lot of really, really crazy bad things, but to me, a lot of the maybe milder things for the people that have experienced those really heavy things, still really heavy for me to experience, you know. And so different experiences can even trigger the same depth of emotion. Um, so I say you're ugly. Oh, why would you say that? That's so mean. And then someone else tells you you're the worst. I'd say you're the worst is worse than ugly, but for certain people, ugly might be, being called ugly might be, they might have a trigger there or trauma or whatever, you know? So then understanding that we all experience these depths of emotions and that we can't say that they don't feel or they don't know that feeling as deep as you do, because maybe you feel it just as deep, just you experienced that emotion in different ways. One person got punched in the face, they felt this depth of emotion at that time, and then one person got stuffed in a locker and they felt that same depth of emotion. They're different experiences but the same feeling. Things like that, you know. I'm just giving information. Like, dang it, I want to finish the video, it's so long, but who cares? I also don't like bringing things up like that, but I feel like I have to because the video's so long and I'm like a little self-conscious about how long the videos are because I want people to watch. I want people to talk to me about it. I want the videos to be good for people, and then I'm like, oh, is it good? Everyone has such short attention spans these days, and I also want the videos to feel like you reach the conclusion after you watch it. But sometimes maybe you can't handle a whole video at once. Maybe you need to watch. I did that earlier today. I watched a tarot video. I watched 37 minutes in 1 second. And then I took a nap because I was like falling asleep and I wasn't paying attention anymore. So I was like, pause, took a nap, woke up, ate some food, and then I was like, okay, now I'm gonna watch the rest of the video. And then I took a nap again. I didn't really sleep the night before. I slept like 4 hours and I woke up and then I got stuck playing around on my phone. I was doing good things, so it wasn't a waste of time and it wasn't distracting myself, honestly. I was being productive, but I wish I could have slept at that time, but sometimes you start something and then it's like, oh, now I can't fall asleep again. Yeah. Anyway, now we go to the 10 of Pentacles, which I feel is a very abundant card. Obviously 10. I know I look a little crazy when I make some because I'm trying to see if you can see the image. And when I say certain things, my eyes go, wow, because why not, lean into your being, into your energy, into how you want to express yourself. It will only help you. Sometimes it'll help other people understand you better. And sometimes it'll honestly just make you feel better. That's what I think that's what I do it for. I think that's something I do because I just enjoy being goofy and leaning into my feelings and stuff. You can do it in so many ways. I can lean into my feelings and say things like this. Or I can lean in to my feelings and feel something like this. You know? Which feeling are you going for? Control your emotions. I took a long time to learn how to control my emotions, I'll tell you that. First, I feel like I had to experience a lot of different emotions. And then afterwards, it was like, okay, now I have to understand how to choose how these emotions are being displayed out. I think a lot of times, we also just kind of are forced to feel certain emotions, depending on triggers and what's not. And a trigger, this is interesting because triggered, like, oh, you're so triggered or whatever. why is that? Why does being triggered have a negative connotation? Sometimes I get triggered because I'm like, oh, this is so amazing, you know? This is so amazing. This is what I want to do. Like when I play games, it could be different for you, but I'm just giving you an example. And that's the thing, like, I can tell you about certain stories and stuff. The point of me telling those stories are to relay a certain feeling or thought around it, surrounding it. Like I'm trying to give you just the context so you can maybe find similar ones in your own life. Like similar. I thought it was similar or whatever. I don't know. Let me see. It just irks me. That word. There's other word, assimilating. Also one of those words. Apparently you pronounce the I as an A in it, and that triggered me. Was it a negative trigger? No, it was a disturbed trigger. I was disturbed. What? How can it be that? I thought I knew. And then it started going off, and I was like, oh. And then it got worse, and then I got teased for it. And still now, I still don't feel like I can use the word the right way. I know that I have the right context for it, but I don't feel like I can use the word in like a... I think I'll chop the video. I think I'll chop it. I'll do parts instead. Then it doesn't have to be as long. I think that could be good. Then I can find spaces in the video where yada, 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 you know. Figuring it out as we go here. Ain't nothing scripted, you know. But yeah. That didn't hurt me. It didn't hurt me being triggered. That I didn't know exactly how this word worked or whatever. But it was a learning experience. I learned something from it. Can't even apply it for some reason. Weird. Sometimes it's weird. Why do we learn certain things, you know? Why'd you learn that one thing, you know? Did you really have to learn it? But you did. So, and sometimes we learn something and it doesn't reveal, the reason isn't revealed until later in life. For example, like I saw this show with with the ventriloquist. Like, maybe I want to be a ventriloquist. Maybe I want to learn how to do that. Maybe it would be a fun thing to do with kids, you know? Go do a ventriloquist show. Could talk about things and it would kind of take the pressure off of it. I didn't even think about that deeper until right now. But I did notice the ventriloquist thing that I was like, for some reason I was like drawn to it. And maybe I will do it or maybe I won't, you know? Some things have to unfold for us to be able to see them. Some things we can't see until it's revealed. And how fun would it be if we knew everything that was going to happen and we didn't have any decisions to make for those things to happen? How would that even work? That's like the thing with freedom of will. I think I understand it better now, honestly. It's like, how do I explain it afterwards? Sometimes you can understand something, but you don't know how to explain it to others. I never really liked when people are like, oh, I mean, there's a difference between if someone wants you to explain something because they want to understand it better, or if someone explains something to you, or no, if someone points out like that you used a word in a conversation. Oh, used to happen to me sometimes. Do you even, I think it happens to a lot of people. Do you even know what that word means? I used it. Obviously, I know what it means in a way, in one way or another. Maybe I don't always understand everything about the word. I've always been a terrible speller. I still knew the words, I knew how they were pronounced, but I didn't know how to spell them correctly. Some things take longer time to understand. My battery just went down. I hope that doesn't affect the video. Anyway, yeah. have all this power. We have all these amazing, amazing things in our lives. We have all this amazing knowledge, all this power in ourselves. Aren't we supposed to express that power? Or are we supposed to hide it and push it away and hold it back? And no. I can relate to that. If you ever felt like someone's held you back, it sucks. Sometimes it's people you care about so much too, which is like, oh, why? Darn it. This is a word that I don't know if English actually has the same word to it. So I think this ties into it because we're speaking about abundance, you know. Sometimes you have a lot of abundance and then people get jealous. But the word in Swedish is missunnsam that I was thinking of. And that word means like that you're not, there's no word for it, but you can explain it in English. It's like that someone isn't happy for you. Maybe there is a specific word, but I like that Swedish has this word. It was a good word, and when I learned it, it helped me. My voice wasn't going out there, but it helped me understand that sometimes people aren't happy for you. They don't. And I knew the feeling. I knew I had been affected by this phenomenon of people not being happy for other people's sakes, which is, I can't understand it. How can you not be happy for someone if they're doing good, and if they're feeling bad, you better not feel happy about it. Better not, because I don't know what y'all doing in your life. But, yeah, be happy for other people's sake. Be happy for your sake. Sometimes you need to lean into the feeling of what it is you're conversating about or debating or whatever, you know. Sometimes I wish there were more words. Like, that is a weird thing to say, but yeah. Sometimes you have to lean into what the topic of discussion is. And it's definitely something you can practice and get better at. I found this app once upon a time when I was working my own 9 to 5 that I would play on my phone. It was like a game, but it wasn't a game. It was called Neuro Nation. I'm not plugging it. They don't sponsor me. I ain't got no sponsors. Of course, my loving family sponsors me in life. They've always been there. Sometimes family doesn't always know how to be there for you in the way that you need it. And you can't hold that against them. You have to be able to not hold on to everything so hard. You have to give yourself grace. I heard that in the show once. I thought it was good. Didn't really like the person that said it afterwards, so I'm kind of iffy about saying it, but you have to give yourself grace sometimes, and sometimes you have to give others grace. You have to give them, okay, it's okay that things didn't turn out or play out, or things aren't playing out the way that in the most conducive way or whatever. And I didn't want to add the whatever there, but I was like, you know, when you get a little hesitant about what you're going to say. But maybe sometimes people don't show up for you in the most conducive way to your path forward. And then obviously you're going to keep searching for that conducive way moving forward. I would guess. That's what I do. I can only base this off of my experience and my being. It's so same as you. You can only base your understanding about things off of your personal experience. Some experience you don't remember, but it stays with you through lifetimes, if you believe in stuff like that. Um, yeah. Give the people around you grace, as well as yourself, because that will be more conducive. Even if they can't give you what you're looking for at the time, it's still conducive to give grace to people. And forgiveness can be a long and hard path in certain ways if you feel like you got hurt or things like that. But I always believed that we can reconnect no matter what happens, And sometimes there is no reconnection. But to our family, I always felt that was sad if you couldn't reconnect with your family, no matter how shitty things have been. Of course, even there, I think there are certain things that might have been so mean, so nasty, vile, wicked, and cruel that you don't want nothing to do with that person anymore. But sometimes we overreact and we don't let go of things, and sometimes we make things even worse. You make things worse for yourself in this relationship that could be beautiful. You could grow together. But if you're holding something against someone, then but yeah, sometimes you just have to cut it off in order to thrive. But then I think something that can help you, I think it helps me. I'm not sure about this one though. But sometimes you have to say, okay, this is over. Not going back to this. And then being very clear about that can help you move forward and not get pulled back into whatever, could be whatever. Got one last card. This is Seven of Cups. I got some last thing about the word relationship. A relationship, it can be, but then there's a friendship. But then after that, when I thought about it earlier, a while, like yesterday, I don't know, someday, I was like, are there even more ship words? Relationship, friendship, courtship. So yeah, but a relationship can have double meanings, because your relationship to your family, or is there a better word for that? I don't know. If you know a better word for that, please let me know. I'd love to know that word. Like it's not a family ship, but the family is like a ship, and the crew is you, your family, and all of your ancestors, everyone in your line. Most lines, or all lines, I don't know. I think most lines connect to each other at some point in history, obviously they can be further and closer. Gotta obviously not gonna have no relationship with someone close in your family line. That would be absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. But yeah, I think that's the safety of it. We have different lines of families, because otherwise it would get all weird, all crossbred, and not nice. It's not what we're aiming for here in life, right? I'm like, oh, for some reason it feels weird talking about it, even though what I'm saying about it is, there's so many people out there, especially today. There's no reason you have to go messing with someone in your close or not so distant family line. You can find a different line. I got Bahamian and Swedish, and other things in me. I don't know exactly. I haven't done a test, but I got those things in my line. Um, Obviously, not all Swedes are the exact same line either. Maybe they have different blah blah. And maybe for me, who would be a good alternative or option, whatever. Yeah, this is edgy. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should even be talking about this, but say that I chose a Japanese woman, then obviously our lines are very disconnected. They're very far away from each other. So now we're merging family lines from very far away. And in a way, if we have children, we're giving our children like a very diverse genetic code, which I think is a pro. I think that's a good thing. I think you want the most diverse genetic code. And I think the more people we have and the further along in history we go, there's more options. We'll never go back to how small. Well, we don't know. We don't know how many people there were. If it's evolution, how many did only one evolve, or did I mean? There's Neanderthals, there's Homo sapiens, there's different types of human beings or whatever. Uh, it's complicated, but way back, did most likely, I feel in a way, but then I do think that humans evolved from whatever they were before to humans. Um, I'm like, oh, I hope you find it interesting. You can always share your thoughts with me about it too. I'm not saying this is the full truth. I think it's important to tell you that so you don't go off on my behind. My tarot reader said behind. I was like, yeah, that's a better word than butt and ass. Better word, behind. And yeah. But what I said was like most likely humans started from they had to crossbreed a lot in order to populate, in a way. I don't know. I'm trying to think like if there's a way to check it, like anyway, I think I'm diving into my own thoughts right now. I hope this is giving you something. But I'm thinking like, is there a way to see if, because it would take two to tango to make a baby or an egg or whatever. And then there are only three now, or four, depending on how many children they have. And then it goes further along. But then the more they spread out, the more maybe now, so say it goes from two beings, we'll start two beings, and now they're four beings. No, let's say they have four children. So we got two from the start, and then we got four kids afterwards. Boom. This is just me having a little fun. I'm just having a little fun. This is nice for me. I'm not going to explain myself further on why I'm saying what I do, but now you know. To those who watch this video, who see this part of the video, now you know that sometimes I'm just having fun with thoughts. I enjoy having fun with thoughts. I think it's fun exploring. What can we think about? How could things be, Deepening your understanding, and then maybe sometimes you don't deepen your understanding. Sometimes you deepen your ignorance, or that wasn't the word I was looking for. But see, I'm still explaining, but that's something I've had to do a lot in my life. Explain yourself, It can be tiring to explain yourself. But yeah, we'll go back to the two. I think I lost something there, but two, and then it goes to four. And then let's say it's two boys and two girls. This is gonna be weird. Now we got two new families. They're of the same. They started from the two, and now they're four. And then let's say they also have four. They have 4 each, let's say. Let's say it's, yeah, let's say, oh, that's weird. It's like almost to get like to a more diverse genetic code, they would almost have to be with their, and then sometimes they'd find each other in between, and then it would spread out more and more, and then it would create different lines kind of based off of the same genetic code. But then I think the randomness of how that code plays out, I mean, you can have siblings that look very alike or siblings that look very different. So I'd say their genetic code is different in a way because of that factor. Pretend, at least. And then it would keep going levels and levels out, branching out more and more and more and more. And then eventually, let's not say this is humans. Let's say we're talking about birds. Birds aren't as conscious as us, so they might not think as deep into it. They'll probably just act instinctually off of, I mean, they have to court each other and they have to decide that they're going to make babies, except ducks. Ducks are bad. Check out what ducks do and you'll be like, oh, I don't even want to say it, but ducks are gross. I can't believe that I even delved into this, but I felt so compelled. So let's say these birds, they do this, and then the birds would start looking different and all these things, and then eventually, let's say after 100 years of doing this, I think birds can have babies pretty young too. So with birds, for example, it would happen pretty quickly. Okay, this is, and then eventually the bird's genetic pigment has, their DNA has mutated so many times from copulating with, fortunately in this scenario, like near relative birds. Then now there's birds from the same start. They started at the same place, but now they've grown so far apart that the bird from the family on the far right, let's say, and the bird from the family on the far left find each other by just happens. Now they have their baby. Now this baby, it's like it ties back the loop. It's weird. I don't know if I'm onto something. It feels like I'm kind of onto something, but you can let me know. I have a snooze in. My friend gave me a snooze. I have one more. I'm going to take it afterwards. It's going to be nice. I stopped with nicotine. It's like the last demon I have to face. So hard getting away from all of the different substances that you can take out here, you know. Haven't had alcohol this year. No drugs, no nothing. I drink milk. That's my diet. I drink milk. But now nicotine is like, it's the last thing I have to defeat. What kind of things are you trying to get away from? Or have you wanted to get away from, but maybe just accepted that, it's too hard or things like that? You can always revisit, you know. Never be, I couldn't beat it earlier. Now I have to do it for the rest of my life, you know. Some things are harder. Some things in life are definitely harder to defeat. And nicotine has definitely been the hardest thing to defeat because it's such an easy kick. It's like it gives you something that just makes you feel, okay, everything's fine. But the actual effect of nicotine is that it stresses you out. So it's like, because you started, now you know what that stress feels like. And maybe that stress doesn't feel as bad as the stress you're feeling in your life otherwise. So then Having that, okay, now I don't have to. Now I don't have to feel the real stress. Now I can just feel the stress from this. Chill. It helps you like cope with reality in a way, nicotine. But I think it also, that's the reason I wanted to get away from nicotine the most. Um, we all have different reasons for wanting to quit things. We all have different ways we see things and ways we feel about things. But for me, I wanted to get away from nicotine because I want to be able to feel the full range of emotions, and I think that nicotine uh, dampens our sense perception. I don't think we can feel things as easily when we need more. We need more a deeper sensation in order to feel. I was a little crazy, but we have a deeper. We need a deeper sensation to feel the same mild feeling. I want to be fully in control and fully sensitive. That's my goal. In a way, I have many goals. What kind of goals do you have? Do you have many goals? I guess. Goal, I want to be good at this, want to do that. Then you could have a goal. Oh, I want to learn how to cook some meals for myself and other people. And you can reach those goals. That's why it's nice to have easier goals also sometimes. You can start with easier goals and go up, you know? I think it's important to have goals. I think something we don't learn about when we're young, unfortunately, enough. It's not like, of course, people tell you about, oh, what's your goals or what's your dreams and things like that, but I think everyone should have like a goal journal or whatever. Who knows? But I think goals are nice to be able to see and check off. I think probably proven that that is a good feeling. Some things are provable, other things are not. Like my theory about the DNA going in and out, like, because then maybe, let's go back to it. I wanted to revisit it. Still explaining. Do you feel like that? Do you feel like you have to explain yourself a lot? I don't think everyone does, but I think everyone does. Everyone explains themselves more or less. Sometimes certain people do things more than other people. Could go deeper, but let's say the bird, after the far right and the far left have now had some young, 4 kids or whatever. Heard something, I was like, yeah, I think he's here. Anyway, very young birds. The birds fly over to, dang it. Okay. I guess that's like the universe telling me to stop there, but I'm just gonna finish it. He can wait a little second. So say now the far right, the far left have had a baby, got these new babies, and then these babies copulate with the ones, and then it's like the strands start intertangling, and then it goes out again, and then it goes back in, you know. Anyway, weird theory at the end. Sorry for that. Level up, get to the plateau you're looking at, and keep working in that energy. Keep working in that you know, the prime energy. You never have to leave it. You can be prime state for your whole life. All of it. I think. Who knows? Take care. Two Path Tarot out. Luke Dog. What's up? Have a good one. Cheers.